I just want to say I really appreciate how well-attended Liberty Forum is this year, how great the conversations are, both on the main stage and in the dialogue room and all spaces in between. So thank you for being a part of that. All right, the state of the Free State. It's pretty good. In all seriousness, I was talking to an individual yesterday who's here. He's in from Pennsylvania, but he's been following the Free State Project for going on, I guess, over 20 plus years. I mean, the Free State Project has been going for about 22 years, and he gave to me this, I guess this was a mail piece that was sent out in like 2004 or so from the Free State Project. And it's got some like headlines on it from newspapers celebrating victories in the Free State, and I just want to, it's like an interesting time capsule. All right, here's some of the headlines. The Herald. Libertarians elected to 30 public offices throughout the state. 30 public offices. I'm sure that didn't even count the state, that wasn't even just counting the state legislature. I'm sure it was counting local offices and all of that. Right? And that was something to celebrate in 2004. Now in the state legislature alone, by the count of the New Hampshire Liberty Alliance, are we still counting at 98? 98, according to their scorecard on terms of people's voting records. 93 libertarians in terms of not just that they call themselves libertarians, but they vote like libertarians in the House of Representatives, and 5 in the state Senate, which is a huge improvement from where we were. We can definitely applaud that. 5 in the state Senate, 93 in the House. That's about a quarter of each chamber before this last election cycle. And I know I've been given the note before that I talk too much about the political victories. I'm sorry, I'm a politician in recovery. I can't help but that's where my attention goes. But when I look at, we've heard some great talks so far from Representative Tom Mannion in particular, who gave an overview of the state of liberty in the state legislature, who's, by the way, Tom Mannion is one of the great bill champions for Defend the Guard, which we'll be hearing more about tomorrow. Last year, liberty efforts to move liberty forward in the state legislature, there was a lot of success in the last legislature, but there was a consistent problem, which was the state Senate. In that an issue like Defend the Guard, which if you're not familiar with, you should attend tomorrow and learn more about it, but it's an effort to fight the forever wars through state action, calling home our National Guard troops from wars that have not been declared by Congress. Passed the House of Representatives. New Hampshire was the very first state in America with a lower chamber to pass Defend the Guard. And it went to the Senate, and they wouldn't even vote on it. Shameful, right? They wouldn't even vote on it. They didn't want to go on record. And we had one pretty good Liberty senator there, Senator Keith Murphy, but you need at least 2 to call for a roll call vote. Now we have 5. So I bet you Defend the Guard is going to get a roll call vote this year, and we'll see where all of the senators stand. But of course, the mission of the Free State Project is not to be directly involved in the legislative process or to do direct political or legislative activism. That is what so many of our great institutions in New Hampshire, like the New Hampshire Liberty Alliance, like Americans for Prosperity, are actively involved in. Our mission is to get people here, and then to not centrally plan what liberty lovers do when they arrive in New Hampshire, but to let people build liberty in the way that they see fit. And over the last generation, liberty has been built pretty strong. So we can measure this not just by the political victories, and there are many, and there are so many, it's hard to just kind of pinpoint one, right? Coming from the state of Maine, we would be proud when we passed constitutional carry. I was proud of that. New Hampshire also passed it. We would make this great stride forward on liberty in one area, while liberty was sliding backwards in 90 other areas. And our liberty was dying a death by a million cuts. In New Hampshire, the state, The authoritarian structures are dying a death by a million cuts, and liberty is advancing. We can applaud that. Yes, certainly. It would be not right to say, here's kind of just one area where we made this great stride forward. We are making strides forward in so many areas, from school choice to zoning policy to car inspections to things big and small. And the value of having so many libertarians concentrated and gathered in one place is that we all have a diverse array of the things that we are passionate about, the areas we're passionate about. And so people are pursuing those, and there's so many things to follow as liberty advances in the legislature. But of course, it's not just the politics that is being shaped by the Free State movement in this state. It is also the culture, and our communities are growing stronger. One of the great ways to see and understand that this is the case is if you go to fsp.org and you look at our community calendar, you will see that there is a Liberty community event taking place in New Hampshire pretty much every single day. Every single day, you will find something that is happening. It could be a meetup, it could be a rucking group, it could be a libertarian theater society, which, you know, we did a play reading of William Shakespeare's Star Wars, Verily a New Hope last October, and I mean, it was a lot of fun at the show. We have many Liberty clubhouses, gathering places for Free Staters to gather and build community events. And when I say Free Staters, I know that this is a word that often is exclusively used for people who have moved here, and that's certainly part of our mission, is to attract people to move here. But I will say personally, I view any single person in New Hampshire, whether they're native Granite Stater, a pre-stater, some people call themselves, people who are libertarian but they moved here but before the Free State Project began, or people who came specifically to participate in the Free State Project. I consider anyone who lives in New Hampshire, who believes in a free New Hampshire, to be a Free Stater. And all are welcome with what we're building as long as you believe in liberty. And so our community events are growing by leaps and bounds. Our clubhouses across the state have become great hubs for community. And as far as the Free State Project goes, we have been working since I came on board to streamline and professionalize some of our recruitment efforts for how we're getting more people here. We call it kind of the 4 steps of our pipeline, which is that we promote, we outreach, we welcome, and we engage. So in our promotional efforts, we are utilizing social media and traditional media to do all that we can to reach the folks out there we call the Liberty diaspora, right? At least I call. If you're from out of state, that's what I call you. You're the Liberty diaspora. We love you. We want you to come and join us. The fact of the matter is that libertarians, there are millions of us, and our country was founded on these libertarian ideals. We can find them in the Declaration of Independence, but we don't find them so much today in, certainly not our national government, and certainly not many of our state governments, and many states around the country. So wherever we may be, if we're dispersed, we may be 5% of where we are, and that's not enough to affect the politics and the culture of where we are. But when we concentrate together and we build our own free society here in New Hampshire, we can amass the numbers to affect the politics and the culture around us, and that's what's been happening for 22 years. And that is why New Hampshire, as we will hear tomorrow from Jason Sorens over lunch, who will be doing the talking about the Freedom in the 50 States Index. I think they just came out with the new version. New Hampshire is consistently ranked #1 in the entire country for freedom on objective measures for freedom, liberty policy. And I think, and if you think, okay, that's Jason Sorens is involved in writing that. He founded the Free State Project. It must be a biased thing. I will say, I think the metrics are pretty objective, but they aren't alone. I think that forget, it was a different publication recently that ranked New Hampshire the #1 state for economic freedom, not just in the United States of America, but in all of North America. Okay, if you're competing with Canada, you know, maybe that's maybe that's a low bar. But anyway, all of North America, New Hampshire is ranked the freest state in all of the most economically free state in all of North America. And I will say, I love to see, as part of my position, I've had the opportunity to go and visit some of the other experiments in emerging free societies. I recently was on the Tom Woods cruise, and we stopped in Prospera, Honduras, and they're doing an interesting experiment down there with a free city. They have a lot of economic freedom there, but I asked them, and I love the Prospera folks, this isn't to beat up on them, but I asked them, like, what about guns? Turns out they are exempt from a lot of the economic regulatory things, but when it comes to criminal laws, they are very much subject to the laws of the nation of Honduras, and guns are very, very highly criminalized in Honduras. So not only are we ranked #1 for economic freedom, but compared to even some of the other experiments in emerging free societies, if you like your gun rights, you'll find it in New Hampshire, and a lot of other your personal freedoms as well. We do have some work to do on things like cannabis, but you know, we're getting there. So freedom is progressing. The policies are moving forward. The communities are expanding. We are promoting to the Liberty diaspora. We are making people aware of what we are building here. We are raising curiosity and interest to the millions out there in the Liberty diaspora. We are outreaching to them by inviting them to come and experience New Hampshire, come and experience our events. Come to the New Hampshire Liberty Forum, like many folks are here. I'm really pleased that about 30% of our ticket sales for this event went to folks from out of state, and I think we have close to 300 tickets sold this year, which was a very good turnout for the New Hampshire Liberty Forum, so we're in a good spot there. To the Porcupine Freedom Festival, that will be this June 16th through the 22nd. We want not just folks in the Free State already to come and participate. We very much want you there. But we also want folks from around the country and the world to come out, and many are. And by the way, I know I've said it before this morning, but in case you missed it, stop by the Pork Fest table, learn more about Pork Fest. For this weekend only, we are offering a 20% off discount code for your Pork Fest tickets. Yeah, what? 20% this weekend only. If you wait till Monday, you'll have missed it. I'll still give you a 10% off discount code, but you won't get 20% off. And I think there's some talk that ticket prices might be going up in mid-May. So you'd be getting 20% off before prices go up. So rather than, anyway. So if you are coming to Pork Fest, I encourage you, please get your ticket now. This weekend, you'll never get a better deal. And you can get some Pork Fest swag while you're at it. You'll be totally equipped and prepared. We do take Bitcoin. We do take Bitcoin. And that's been a request for a long time, and it was some trouble figuring out how to get there. But we have got there with great thanks to Brian Becker, our IT director, and a little help from some Free State friends, including, I don't know if he's in here, Matt Whitlock, who's one of our exhibitors this year, gave us quite a bit of help too, figuring that out. But not just Liberty Forum, not just Pork Fest. We have events all year round, community events, and you can just come and visit for a week. Any week of the year, there's 52 weeks to choose from, and you can get a taste of New Hampshire and a great place to stay. There are many great places to stay. We have the Adventurers Rest at the Prickle right here in Concord. We have the Independence Inn, which is a great place. I know a lot of folks, heard a lot of folks who are here for Liberty Forum this week are staying at the Independence Inn. That's owned and operated by Dennis and Carol Pratt. So we are working to get people here all year round to experience New Hampshire. That is how we are outreaching, inviting people to come and get a taste. Then we welcome people. Our Welcome and Engagement Director, I don't know if she's in here right now, Chris Lopez. Maybe you know Chris Lopez. We should all give her a round of applause. I'll tell you, when I came on board the Free State Project, realized very quickly how grateful I am for Chris Lopez. She knows where all the light switches are, and she knows where all the bodies are buried. Chris Lopez has been an institution in this Free State movement. She was one of the original movers, and now she has been, for a long time now, helping to welcome new arrivals. So anyone who is exploring a move to New Hampshire should be in touch with Chris Lopez, and we can help you plan your move, execute your move, and welcome you when you get here. We throw welcome wagons for every new mover who would like one, and we love doing them, so we hope that new movers don't feel like, oh, I don't want to be a burden on anyone. No, we want to throw you a welcome wagon. A welcome wagon is when you arrive with your moving truck and you need help unpacking into your new home, all your furniture, we'll be there. And we'll help you unpack and move into your new home. And all we ask for is that you order some pizza. That's all we ask for. Some people go out more than that, but you know, all we ask for is some pizza. And we throw regular welcome wagons to slow down a little bit in the winter because people tend to wait for nicer weather to move. But we're getting back to it. So we promote, we outreach, we welcome, and then the last part of our pipeline is we engage. And this is where people have arrived, they're settled. We have so many participants in the Free State movement, and we want to make sure that people are engaged in the broader movement. But by engaging, we are publicizing all that we can, all the events that are going on, with regular emails out to our communities, with keeping our Liberty calendar updated, with volunteer opportunities like getting involved in our ambassador program, like we just did at the Young Americans for Liberty event this past weekend, and we went down to the Students for Liberty conference in Washington, D.C. Boo, Washington, D.C. I don't know why you would do a Liberty conference in Washington, D.C., to be honest. Actually, Young Americans for Liberty is doing a Liberty conference in Washington, D.C. this weekend, but I still love them. We create many opportunities for people to be engaged and stay engaged in the communities that we're building here. We do know that there are a lot of people who move and and come here, and you know, we don't always hear from them again. You know, they're living their life, and we respect that. You know, hopefully they're voting for good people. I know some of the anarchists don't like voting, but you know, I hope that you at least vote for the good people. You don't have to vote for the bad people. That is kind of our professional pipeline we've been developing. A lot of systems that have been in place, but we're clarifying and working to do more of. Promote to the Liberty diaspora, outreach to the curious, get them to come visit, welcome those who have declared their intent to move, and engage our participants to continue building the institutions that are making New Hampshire great and free, helping to get people involved in the New Hampshire Liberty Alliance, involved in Americans for Prosperity, involved in so many of the projects that are going on, including the non-political ones. Of course, politics isn't the only way to advance liberty. That we have great homesteading communities, we have great homeschooling communities, we have great cryptocurrency communities, all of these ways that people are challenging the structures of the state, building alternatives through indirect challenges of the state as well as the direct challenge of politics. So the Free State continues to move forward. I really appreciate all who've come out this weekend to be here with us. And we're one generation in. I think that the progress has been undeniable. And you know it's undeniable because of how much whining we hear from the progressives. Fun story. If you are on our email newsletter, you may have seen this. And if you aren't on our email newsletter, you really should be. Go to fsp.org and sign up for our email newsletter. I write it myself with the assistance of some of our team. It goes out every single week. We didn't send one this week because it's kind of busy. But a funny thing happened on the way to Liberty Forum. I was sitting at my local cafe in Dover, where I often, actually I see a lot of Free Staters there all the time. I see some of my Dover friends. It's this cafe called Breakaway Cafe, which kind of feels kind of appropriately named, just having broken away from the state of Maine. And I was sitting there, and happened to be that day, there were a couple of other Free Staters present, including some of my friends with Americans for Prosperity. We were all kind of working on different projects, just happened to be there. And in walks a politician. And you know he was a politician because he was dressed like this. And he had this look on his face like he expected the whole room to turn and say, oh, there's a politician. And you were worried if you made eye contact with him, he was going to come over and shake your hand. And I'm a rookie to New Hampshire politics, but I figured out pretty quick, oh, that's Congressman Chris Pappas, who's intending to be the next U.S. Senator for New Hampshire. We're a 501c3 nonprofit, so I don't directly comment on that. Anyway, but he sits down, and so does apparently half of the local kind of Democrat state delegation is sitting down at this table, like right in the middle of all of us. I didn't say anything. We didn't introduce ourselves. I don't know. We're all doing our own work. We were not planning to bother them. But as they're sitting down and they're talking, right next to us, literally, right next to us, they're complaining about all the Free Staters that are moving into the area. They're complaining about it. How terrible it is. I think they specifically mentioned the Free Staters moving into Durham. So maybe they're talking about the Fentons. I don't know. I was just at a great event that the Fentons put on with a lot of the local liberty activists on the college campus there. There are some. So maybe they're the ones that they're complaining about. They're moving into the area. I don't know. But they're complaining about all the Free Staters moving into the area. And we had a chuckle about that. It was especially funny when Chris Pappas put out the photo of him. Look, I'm meeting with all these local people. It's meeting with all these politicians, actually, right? And it's there's me over his shoulder working on my computer on recruiting people to come to Liberty Forum. They didn't realize. But that's not it. That's not all. There was just a piece in, I think it was I know there's a reporter here from In-Depth New Hampshire, so I don't mean to pick on them, but there was a State House reporter there who, I guess he's been a long-time State House reporter, and the exact quote, I'm going to butcher it a little bit, but he said, I presume this guy is more of a progressive bent, and he says, things are really changing in New Hampshire, and it seems to have started when all these Free Staters started moving in. It seemed to start, and just like they promised, they've been getting elected to local town boards, and they've been getting elected to the legislature, and can you believe it? They're abolishing taxes. They're expanding school choice. Of course, they use other words, right? They're taking away money from all these great government programs. Abolishing, anyway. So we can stand here and we can talk about and sell how well the Free State is developing, how great the Free State is advancing, how much liberty is advancing in this Liberty Lighthouse state of New Hampshire that we're building to be an example for the rest of the country and the rest of the world. We can brag about that, but you might be a little skeptical, right? It's of course you're going to say that about yourself. Of course you're going to say how great things are going. But you know that we're winning because our adversaries are whining about it. And that's how you know the Free State is winning. So I want to say thank you so much for being here, for participating in the exchange of ideas that is happening this weekend. I know we have folks from as far away as Idaho and Oregon on the west side of the country, and we have folks all the way on as far away as Germany who've come to join us. So thank you to everyone who's made the travel from nearby or from far away. All right, a note's coming up to me. I was about to wrap up. Now what am I saying? Okay. Oh, okay. All right. I'm going to literally read to you the note that Carla Garrick, our chairman of the board, just gave to me. All right? I'm not going to paraphrase this. I'm going to read it verbatim. Pimp the off-site dinners tonight. Sign up online. All right. So tonight, if you don't know, So tomorrow night we have a VIP dinner. It's going to be in this room. We're going to hear from former president of the Mises Institute, Jeff Deist. He was the last chief of staff for Congressman Ron Paul during his time in Congress. We're going to be hearing from him tomorrow night. By the way, we still have several VIP tickets available for sale. We overbooked a little bit because we figured there might be some people with a general admission ticket who decide, you know, I'd really like to actually be there for that. We have a limited number of seats still available for that. So go see our registration folks if you would like to sign up for the VIP dinner. There will also be a live auction following that. Mark Edge will be our auctioneer from Free Talk Live. But tonight, we're not doing dinner here. We are going out into Concord. We have several off-site dinners. If you check the email that you all should have received from me, there are links there to sign up. There's limited seating at these off-site dinners at 7 different restaurants hosted by the different regions of the different regional communities of the Free State. I'm personally going to Moritomo, the Japanese restaurant where the Seacoast region is hosting, which is where I reside here in New Hampshire. But you can't go wrong with whatever you pick. You're going to have great conversation, great food. Yes, we do have great food in New Hampshire. Maybe, you know, maybe it's, you know, someone from Texas told me, yeah, but what about the tacos? Okay, all right. But we do have great food. So please come out and join us tonight. Sign up in advance because those will fill up. So check your email for that. If you missed that, check it. If you didn't see it, check your spam folder. Sometimes Google doesn't like me, and you might find it in your spam folder. So please come out tonight for those dinners, and otherwise, if they fill out, you'll have to find something else out in the world, but I'm sure you will. You're also welcome to come to those same restaurants, even if our initial tables fill up. I'm sure there will be otherwise seating available. You just won't be at the main table with the folks who signed up early. Carla, is there anything else I need to pimp out before I get down from here? Where did Carla... Abolish the roads? Is that what you said, Carla? The Sunday Quill Brunch. We are having a brunch at the Quill hosted by the Women of the Free State. And when I say hosted by the Women of the Free State, I mean they actually are making brunch for you. We're not like ordering out from some restaurant. The Women of the Free State are making brunch for you Sunday after we all wrap up. If you're perhaps, I don't know if you're flying out, you're going to the Manchester airport, stop by the Quill first and have brunch with us. There's limited seating there. I think we have space for 40 people, so we are asking for pre-registrations for that. Child-friendly. There's a great child playroom there and everything, so like bring the kids if you'd like to. VIP ticket holders, we tried to, because you paid, you know, twice as much for your ticket, you can get in for $5 for general admission tickets. It's $25. If you're VIP, we're covering the difference out of your ticket. So take advantage of it. If you're not, I don't know, you must not like money. I don't know. Oh, are you even a libertarian? All right. There's a 70s party tonight at the Quill as well. By the way, the Quill, if you don't know, is the original Free State Community Clubhouse. It is long-standing. I don't even know when it was established, long before I was here. They're awesome. So if you have never been there, this is a great opportunity to check out the original Free State Community Clubhouse in Manchester. Anything else, Carla? Are we over on time, Brent? Is that what you're telling me? Oh, yeah. All right. We're 3 minutes over on time. Thank you for your indulgence. Long live the Free State.